On your final tomorrow, you will be reading a drama and a fiction story and a nonfiction. We've had a chance to talk about annotating nonfiction, but we didn't have a chance to talk about how we should annotate drama and fiction. So I wanted to show you a good strategy to do with drama, because you don't want to annotate every single line that a character has, because that's just going to be a big waste of your time. So a really good thing to think about is chunking it. On a little page like this, I would probably chunk it around just like halfway. And that's going to be depending on what happens. So this is just scene 1 with how Novia Boy starts. And we know that in the beginning we have Rudy and Alex, and they're hanging out, and we know that Rudy's pacing back and forth, and then the first thing that Rudy says is, "What am I going to talk about?" So this is where we get the first sense, like, what's going on here. We know that Rudy is nervous. That's the first important thing that we know. And then we have Alex telling him, just level with her. You got to be simple, break the ice. And so we know from the beginning that Alex gives Rudy advice. You want your annotations to be very simple and short. You don't want to rewrite the whole story. You don't have to write anything like Alex makes a joke or anything like that. Take what's important. And these are the 2 important pieces that we get from the beginning. So then when you would get to the next one, then I would probably chunk this maybe into 3 pieces. So talking about colors would be a good one for this. And then they're not talking about colors anymore. They're talking about Mama Rosa. And this is Alex giving more advice. So just chunk it out just based on where the conversation goes, and just make quick annotations about what's happening between the characters. Pretty similarly with fiction, you don't need to write an annotation for every single paragraph, because sometimes you'll have short little paragraphs. The way that I chunk this would actually be pretty good for how to think about where to stop for your annotation. So I know it's been a while since we read Priscilla and the Wimps, but in the beginning of Priscilla and the Wimps, we're introduced to some characters. We're introduced to Monk Clutter. You have our narrator saying that you can't go to the restroom without a pass. You got someone who sells pink tickets. And then you have Monk Clutter's gang, the Clutter's Cobras. And so we get this sense that Clutter's Cobras runs the school. You don't need to describe Clutter's Cobras. You don't need to say how they ran the school. You just need to get the big idea out. So we just have a character and we have what we know about them. So you would keep that up. So we learn about how Monk looks. And again, you don't have to rewrite how Monk looks. You just have to see, it's just, he cares about his appearance. This is Monk's appearance. Your annotations are there for you to be able to flip back from the questions, to remember where it was in the story you learned these things, so that you can easily find the text evidence. I don't want anyone to get too tired making too many annotations so that you lose steam once you get to the questions. Your annotations are there to help you, not to tire you out. So keep this in mind when you're taking your final tomorrow. It is important to annotate, but it is also important not to spend your entire time annotating.